Hey guys, we are live. Welcome to episode 15 of Comet Crunch, and a new time slot around 10 o'clock, 10:15 on Thursday nights. With me, of course, is Mr. Lou Rod. How's it going, man?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Doing quite well. And let's get the show rolling. Lots of things this week. It's like today. Today was the day a lot of news dropped in terms of shows and things like that. But I think the biggest news, at least, is coming from El Mayimbe talking about Justice League. This kind of carried over from what Devin Farsi said a couple of days. So,
well, I guess you and I differ on what's big news because I don't give a shit about what he said.
Who?
El Mayimbe. I mean, yeah, it's good news, but I think the bigger news of the day is the fact that we're going to have a unified front on the CW.
We will get to that. So hold your horses. Dude, calm down.
That's bigger news.
It's not bigger news. It's not bigger news. I'll tell you why it's not bigger news. But let's kick things off. So Devin Farsi came out 2 days ago and said that the main villain for Justice League will be Steppenwolf.
I like it.
And Steppenwolf is basically, you saw Steppenwolf in BVS.
Mm-hmm.
He was the creature that had the. Oh, so you didn't see him. You saw him in the cut scenes, in the deleted scenes in BVS. So I will show you. Let me share my screen here. Show you the character quickly.
And yeah, but I think that scene will be back in the movie.
In the movie.
Yeah, in the 3-hour cut.
Yeah. So this is him right here. Sorry, I know I'm like showing a screen on my screen. I apologize, but that's how he looks like. Steppenwolf is Darkseid's uncle, and the backstory there quickly is that Darkseid killed his mother, took over power, and made his uncle a general because he's a military strategist. Now here is where El Mayimbe adds his extra to it. El Mayimbe's scoop is that Darkseid tried to invade Earth 30,000 years ago, roughly. That's the timeline they're given. The Atlanteans and the Amazonians fought Darkseid off with the help of man. Now, here's the catch where I heard from somebody else. They said the help of man could mean actually none other than Black Adam, because Black Adam was created in the age of the pyramids. He was actually given his powers by the wizard Shazam around the time of the pyramids, which kind of correlates all together. So that's where the storyline starts off, and probably that's where the beef between Amazonians and Atlanteans also comes from, because of whatever happened at the end of that war that they had with Darkseid. So he leaves 3 mother boxes on Earth. And that's where you see that communication with Lex and Steppenwolf in the deleted scene. So that's where the whole movie basis starts off from for Justice League. So
if that's the case, it makes sense. But then, granted, Black Adam doesn't come out for a few years. It will tie in eventually. Maybe he could be in a deep sleep,
or maybe he's even in this movie. You never know. Or maybe we see him in the past in that war. We don't know. We don't know what happens.
You know why he's not in this movie?
Why?
Because The Rock is too busy.
Oh, yeah,
Rock finishes Baywatch this week, and next week he's on the set of Fast 8.
Yeah, but his filming can only be 1 week. He's needed for.
His scene could be 1 day's worth of shooting for him, and he's been known to do shit on the fly.
And he's always fit, so he's not like he needs, like he needs to go work out. Like all the movies he's doing requires him to be fit anyway. So that's something can be done. But again, that's me adding and speculating in there.
He said it himself. He goes, he's back to his his Hobbs weight of 250 plus of Monster Man.
Yeah,
Black Adam can be decent looking at 250.
Yeah, he can be. So again, all depends, and like I said, it's all speculation and guessing. But
like I said, it could be the flashback, which would be just fine.
I like that incorporation there. I like the fact that the war between the Amazonians and the and the Atlantis, it's not like they fought each other. They probably had beef from the falling out after that war. Like, you guys didn't supply more troops, or whatever the case may be. Like, you left us stranded, that kind of thing. But it now shows that dark side, that Superman really wasn't the first person to come to Earth. Shit has been going down much longer, for quite a long time. Superman is just the first person in present day that cut everybody's YouTube attention, pretty much.
Yeah. That's an interesting rumor. I hope it plays out.
Yeah, but that's the thing. The point there is that it may or may not play out, because now you have Ben Affleck, who is now the executive producer. Also, he is also helping rewrite scripts as well as editing. Some of these things might change. Now, what I mean by change is you could have the same story idea be the same, but maybe the way it's executed is changed, or they could scrap it all together and say, you know what, we're not doing it that way. It might be somewhere else. So we won't know anything until we see the first teaser trailer, probably around, I would say, December.
Probably.
Yeah, around December or so. That's what I'm thinking with that one. But yeah, it sounds cool. Sounds interesting. Moving on to the TV side of things. Supergirl just got renewed for a second season, but it is moving houses from CBS
to the CW.
Now, if you think this is strange, just to let you guys know, CBS is co-owners of CW with Warner Brothers. They have 50% stake in CW, so it's easy for them to move shows if they wanted to. That's one benefit of that. But it also brings Supergirl to the house of Arrow, Flash, and DC Legends of Tomorrow. Now, the question is, is Supergirl still going to remain in its own universe, or do they somehow retcon it into the Flash Arrow universe, or they keep it separate and have the two other shows connect easily, aka Flash and DC Legends of Tomorrow? These other can go. Remember, it's time streams. They can go into another strong time stream somewhere else. Those are the two shows that can intersect into hers and keep it, flowing all the way through. Because if Arrow is doing what we're hearing they're doing, they want to kind of change locations and scale it back. Scale the, the feel of the show back to its old form. Then most likely it would just be Flash visiting Arrow. That's it.
I don't want that though. I want them all to unite.
But that's the thing. How do you do it? Because, and again, remember, the problems of you having Supergirl in the show means you now bring Superman to that world. And half of the shit that's already been happening, Superman should have been there. That's the problem you face with that kind of stuff.
It can happen. They can make it work, goddammit. Berlanti's a genius.
No, I don't see it happening. I think he's going to see. I think this is what he will do. I think they will play it for a full season, and maybe by season 3, we will have our version of Crisis on Infinity Earths with those shows, because you now have, remember, Flash has gone to another Earth already, and then she's another Earth, and then something happens where everybody has to get together and they fight. At the end of it, everybody's on the same universe. They revamp it that way. And then it's almost giving the show a new lease on life, because then maybe Barry retires and Wally takes over, or whatever the case may be. I'm just throwing that out there as a way to mix things up. So I think,
it's going to be interesting because look, it's moving to Vancouver next season.
Yeah,
it's not staying in LA to film. It got picked up for 22. Which I still think that's too much, but hey, what can we do?
Mm-hmm.
And I personally think it's going to be on the Monday time slot.
Still, yeah.
So where the shows go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, they have a comic book show.
Yeah.
Granted, Tuesday will have 2, but all the other nights still at least have 1. And we also get that Rivendell got picked up to series.
AKA our Archie comic.
So that'll probably be on Mondays as well.
Yeah. So CW is really doubling down on being the comic book network, so to speak. Now, NBC's jumped into the fray with Powerless, which is their own show. Now, I have, mixed feelings about this in the sense that I think it could work, and I think it also could flop at the same time, because it's an office-style show, and they do superhero insurance, right? I think that's the whole idea of the show. So it all depends on how much comedic timing and how they play it, because it could be very funny, and then also it could be very
dull
at the same time. So we'll give that a look and see. Krypton also got picked up.
Well, that one got picked up for at least a series pilot.
Yeah, for pilot.
But granted, let's be real. This is sci-fi, and chances are it'll get picked up to at least 13 episodes.
Yes. Now, I hope they take it in the same vein as they, not as I'm sure it's not going to be as much as Expanse, which is their main series now in sci-fi. But I hope they give it some of that kind of seriousness, in the sense of like just dedicating some time on the show, because Krypton is actually based off of the DC movie universe. It actually is 2 generations before Kal-El in the movies. So that's another show that is technically connected also to, the whole DC universe. Gotham does not belong in the DC universe. That is on its own 53rd Earth somewhere else.
That's not an Earth. That's just a hodgepodge of garbage.
Yeah. This is called what it is. Gotham now has decided that, look, Batman's never showing. Let's throw all his villains in there, and people will enjoy it. And people like Batman villains. That's why people are still watching Gotham. This is called what it is. It's the villains. It was the right business idea. I agree. But as a fan, nah.
Look, Batman's had some of the coolest villains around, and it still can't get me to watch that garbage.
But it's still pulling ratings, so.
I'm sorry. I want my Penguin to be fat, not skinny and stupid.
He's not fat yet, man.
Okay,
he hasn't fully broken his leg where he has to sit down and eat lots of sardine.
I just don't want to see it. No, it's just stupid. I couldn't get past the first 2 episodes of last season. It was just that stupid.
And then some other news. Greg Berlanti came out and said that yes, he is definitely working on a Booster Gold movie.
Directing.
And he said no. He says directing, and he said maybe. If you see the statement. Now, I actually saw it first on Collider today before I actually read the news. I was a little disappointed because the guys at Collider could not explain Booster Gold or why we should care about the character.
Well, because you got to look at who was on the panel today.
Yeah, I know. And I'm just saying I was just disappointed in general. I get it. So I'll explain Booster Gold, and I think that story fits well in the DC, even though DC Extended Universe is darker, I think it fits well. Number one, Booster Gold, the way the story is in the comics, Booster Gold comes from the future, I think 24th century or something like that. And by then, the only heroes are called Legion of Superheroes. They're modeled after the Justice League. All of them have flight rings, so even if you don't have powers that fly, it lets you fly. And that also protects you. So he's an ex-football player. He gets injured. He becomes a janitor because he can't get work. And he's a janitor for the Legion of Superheroes. He steals a flight ring, and then he heads back. He decides that it would be smart for him to head back to present day, because with this ring, he'll become a superhero. And then he would get lots of fame and fortune. So he comes back to this timeline, and he's like a hodgepodge dude. Like, he likes to get, in the comics, he would get people to sponsor and put on his suit. He's like, I don't care. I'm getting paid. One of the best comics I like was Booster Gold and Blue Beetle, who's his buddy. Blue Beetle is Ted Cord, who owns Cord Industries, which is mentioned in BVS. He's very rich, but he was
mentioned in Arrow.
Yeah, he was paid. So he was trying to help Booster Gold with a new business idea. Booster Gold said that the Justice League doesn't use his teleporters that much, so no one would notice. So he was using it to transport goods as a shipping company. so he could make money. So he was using Justice League material to transfer. It's like, I can transfer your stuff anywhere around the world in only a second. And then Elastic Man found out, and he's like, I'm going to tell Superman. He's like, Superman's such a nice guy. He wouldn't do anything. He's like, I'll tell Batman. He's like, please, please, please do not tell him. I'm afraid of that dude. I mean, the comic book is funny. It's a really funny, And so for someone like Greg Berlanti, it fits his style. But also, there's a lot of story to Booster Gold. Booster Gold is the father of none other than Rip Hunter. Mm-hmm. aka Time Lord Extraordinaire. Booster Gold has helped redirect the timeline in the known DC universe. Even though he's a goofball, and he has this little flying robot, it's called Skeet, that always says, "You did a great job, sir." And whenever he does like something small or little.
See, I think that movieverse could use something like that.
Yeah.
The the three movies that should be somewhat lighter in tone would be the Green Lantern, Booster Gold, and Flash.
Yeah. So that's where I think it falls into. But I could also see him where, I swear to God, it'd be so cool if they show him teleport to Metropolis around that. Maybe the first time he tried to teleport, he mistakenly lands into the Zod fight. He's like, shit, I didn't check my historical records well. Not here. You know, move into something like that and then move over. I think that would just be interesting to have that, you know, that whole light element. I definitely agree. And also they even talked about, this is from Deborah Snyder, they said the Flash movie will also show more of Flash and Cyborg friendship that they have. Because even already you can see, you know, they're taking pictures together on set. They're trying to just build that chemistry so that when they start filming, you start seeing more of that, you know.
If that's the case, I would enjoy the Flash movie a little bit more. I don't want Cyborg in his own movie. I think that would just be stupid.
I mean, like I said, it's become more fluid now. So I think they also understand that, look, and DC has also understood this, that you have to kind of put people together anyway in movies. It's going to match well that way. So Cyborg definitely should up in Flash, and maybe Cyborg and Teen Titans or something else, or Flash again coming back, or somebody else, Hal Jordan, who, you know, wherever you want to mix it in, adds into and just keeps moving those movies forward. Because if you look at it, all their movies are stories. It's not a sequel to each other. Man of Steel, BVS, and Justice League, all three different titles are a trilogy.
Unfortunately.
You know, and the next set is Justice League 2, and the rest will all be like that. Even the stories of Flash, Aquaman will tie into the storyline network. So it's not necessarily one person's movie where you're like, oh, it's just, you know, Arrow, or it's just Flash, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, but you know, we got some sad news today as well.
What was the sad news? Well,
it might not be sad news for you and I, but Agent Carter, she got canned.
Yeah, we knew that because movie. The actress got picked up on a new show, and already by then speculations were she wasn't going to get on that, as well as also Most Wanted was not picked up by ABC. They passed on that. So that is, yeah.
Also, there's news on that one as well.
Yeah.
I don't know about you Castle fans out there if you guys watched that, but that shit finally died.
Castle is, which hopefully frees up
Nathan Fillion
for, you know, everybody says Green Lantern. No, he is perfect for Booster Gold. That charisma that he has and the foolishness that even he throws around in Castle, put that in Booster. That is classically Booster Gold right there. He is a goofball who thinks he's bigger than everybody else, but because even in the Justice League cartoon, he saves people and they're like, "Thank you, Green Lantern." He's like, "I'm wearing gold. Don't you see it?" And they're like, "You have a ring, right?" He's like, "No, I am not Green Lantern."
He's green.
Yeah. So I mean, I'd love them to play on stuff like that. Will make a lot of sense, you know, in just adding more humor to it. So yeah, on that aspect, I think there's a lot of stuff they could do there, and it brings more hope to the DC extended universe. I think, you know, it will evolve and grow now that they know they have to be more fluid in their storytelling and their, you know, aspects they need to go with. Could you see George Miller doing a Flash? Because no, he's got to have. I think you got to have a director who's just light on the feet. Like I said, someone with that Berlanti type thinking, where he goes, you know what, it's going to be fun. It's also going to be serious. It's going to have its back and forth. I think that's where you
see the thing. Well, I don't see him doing the the Flash, is because of what I think it was Campia who said he likes to have creative control, and Flash already has to get into development, and he's busy. He's in Australia right now prepping for Mad Max 2, or whatever they're going to call the 5th film.
Yeah.
So the Green Lantern makes more sense because that's already been pushed back to 2020, and it gives him the time to create his universe.
See, I don't even think it's going to be him for Green Lantern, though. I mean, even though it sounds nice, I don't think it fits him well. I think that to a certain degree, if you give him a solo Superman movie, because by the time you do a solo Superman movie, you're looking at 2019 at least, right? That's enough time for him to place that kind of constant. Even though his movies like Mad Max seems like very out there, it's still just he likes to do one storyline, and then he throws in a lot of noise in action that makes it feel like there's a lot of things going on, but the storyline is just one thing. So I still see him better as like a Man of Steel sequel, director for a Superman sequel, rather than because Green Lantern really involves all three Green Lanterns, like as the rumor is going around, so that they can now spread the Green Lantern story outline wherever they want to. Because then you can just you can always cycle your Green Lanterns, aka you can do a Green Lantern movie the same year you have like a Justice League, right? Because one Green Lantern is helping the Justice League, the other one is out in the universe doing something else altogether. So that's why they want to, I don't see him doing that. But it's still a good choice. I definitely agree with you that could work, with Green Lantern.
But the man will be like 80 something by the time he does that movie, if he does do it.
Yeah. I don't
know.
Yeah,
what about Cyborg?
Cyborg. See, the thing about Cyborg is Cyborg's going to play a huge role in this world. He's going
because he's a cyborg. He's a fucking a walking computer.
He's going to play a huge role in this. Yeah. So
I just don't see a Cyborg movie being interesting unless it is more of a team build.
No, see, the thing about Cyborg's storyline goes back. Like in a Cyborg movie, you do a mixture of flashbacks and forward. So you're going to play a little bit of his past storyline with his father and understand why his only friend is Flash, because that's the only person who, like, Flash looks up to Cyborg in the comic books, the New 52, right? And also because, he was that big football player, right? So if he's looking up to him, and he's like, now you understand why he and Flash kind of get together, because like Flash still believes in him, and he's just like, I'm like, how you just said I'm a cyborg. He's a cyborg, right? Cyborg believes like, that's what I am. I'm a cyborg, done. Like toast. So when you play that kind of storyline, then you can now use it in the film, do a back and forth, and like I say, if he's building out another team with Teen Titans, then you can now use that to relate to those guys in there. That's why I said that it's possible. It's just how you play it. Now, if you just play it as, he's a machine man, then you might as well make RoboCop 4 or 5.
RoboCop, a rebooted version.
So moving away from the DC Extended Universe, the X-Men films, according to the producer, will move to the 90s. It looks like they're moving. Now, if they move to the 90s, as long as they make it like the X-Men cartoons in the 90s and have that theme music, I'm all for it. If it's not like that, then you can just take it and go away. Because that was the best representation of X-Men.
What if the 90s one is the New Mutants and not an X-Men movie? Because Professor Xavier is in the New Mutants movie.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see.
But granted, the question still remains, which fucking Professor X?
No, it's going to be
McAvoy.
Yes, McAvoy. McAvoy is officially taking over all Professor X duties, except in Old Man Logan, where it's older Professor X. That's it.
That sucks, because I kind of like Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen.
Yeah, I mean, they're nice, but I eventually knew it was going to happen at some point. So.
Oh yeah, you knew that, but
at least they give us a soft transition. If you I mean, like they didn't just change it; they give us enough for us to go. Yes, he is. Let's talk about Assassin's Creed. So I dropped my my reaction to that. I know some people mentioned it. What do you guys think of Assassin's Creed? Now I'll ask you, Lou, since I haven't heard your thoughts on it. The trailer dropped.
I would say this, I was in bed when that trailer dropped, because as you could tell, I've been under the weather this past week. So I didn't know the fucking trailer dropped until I got up to go use the restroom, and I seen it in the chat. I'm like, oh shit. So I'm watching it and I'm like, okay, this trailer would be good if it didn't have this god-awful Kanye West in it. I can't stand that clown. And literally, the first 3 lines he says in that trailer, I'm a god, but I'm not a god. all praise to God. Like, this fool has a God complex.
Yes, having Kanye in there was annoying, but I had to separate myself out of the music to say I like the trailer. I agree with everyone who just says all you needed to do was take the soundtrack from the video game.
Dude, I've never played any of the games. I have a few friends who have, and they were like, excuse me, trailer was cool. The music sucked. Why did they just use the original gameplay soundtrack?
That's all you needed to do. You use that. I think you'd have gotten a better reaction from it. It's still salvageable because a lot of people complained about the music, which is good, at least for something that should, that would make it sound like it's, horrible or bad.
Dude, this trailer had the Star Trek Beyond effect.
Yeah. Not as bad as that, though, because that was just bad.
Yeah.
Because the Star Trek Beyond effect was that the trailer added with even the action they showed us made it look like a pure action movie and no Star Trekky to it, right?
Yeah.
This one you knew was going to be action. You saw intrigue. You're trying to figure out who are they trying to kill and what they're doing, but the music didn't let you think that far. That was just the problem.
Yes. It just, I don't know who makes these trailers and they think that these songs fit. Maybe they fit for a brief second and you change the tone.
You know what I mean? Like, it's okay if they started I'm a god but not a god and cut it somehow and tuned in something more like, classically trained music in there. But just to give you, I understand why they put that in there. It almost gives it, because saying the character has like a god complex, right, in the movie, which is fine. But you needed to switch it up. You definitely needed to switch it up.
The problem is they just gave Kanye Kardashian a bigger ego than what he has.
Okay. All right. But let's see. Joshua says, I think it was dope. Daryl Miles says, I couldn't tell you what was going on. So, I mean,
dude, they made some funny gifs out of this trailer, though.
I haven't seen them yet. I have not seen them.
Oh, man. They had one where he's doing, like, he spreads his arms out and he's getting ready to do the swan dive. Well, they take the arms and start going in a motion like this.
Okay, that's cool.
They had one with, well, at least the trailer, the movie doesn't look like it's going to have any gameplay freezes, and there's this one thing where he's floating in the air doing like a bird motion.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the game has so many issues in terms of freezes, and you have to use Uplay if you're playing on PC and all that stuff. Anyway, moving on to the news.
Well, let's touch on Jessica Jones.
No.
She starts filming directly after The Defenders.
Yeah, okay. It's Jessica Jones.
That's just for you, bro.
When they decide to fix the character properly, I'll care. I'll still watch it for whatever. Moving on to something more exciting. Black Panther movie might be casting Lupita Nyong'o as a love interest of Black Panther. Now, just to put it this way, Black Panther's all his love interests have been fighters. Homie does not like to go with soft girls. He likes to go with girls who know how to hit. In the comic books, he married Storm in the comics, and Storm in the comics is not like any other. I mean, actually, when he married Storm, I think she had the mohawk still. So I could be wrong. I just can't remember. But
honestly, this is wishful thinking, but I like the X-Men franchise and what Fox has done with this somewhat. I'm still optimistic for Apocalypse, because you'll be paying for that, because I'm going to win that bet.
What was the bet again on that one?
You keep thinking that it's Wally West in that stupid glass.
No, it is. It's just Wally West.
No, it's not.
Who did you say again it was?
There's actually a new theory that it could be his dad.
No, it's not him. He's too thin.
It's Earth 2 version, which would make sense.
No, it's Wally West.
It's not Wally West.
I'll tell you it's Wally West. You know why?
Wally West has blonde hair.
No. Dude, look, go check. Look, anyway, just move it. We'll move that back.
But that's besides the point. I would like Marvel Fox to just come to an agreement. We could use each other's characters. You make your profit, and when we use some of the characters from there, we make the profit. The universe now becomes more open. Because I would like to see Black Panther and Storm get together.
Yeah,
and have things work out better that way. Because storylines could flow. So I mean, look what they did with the Spider-Man. Let's be real, dude. Granted, he was only in that movie for a total of what, 27 minutes?
Yeah, about 20.
No, because the fight scene was 17 minutes and 38 seconds long in the airport, and his scene at home was about 10 minutes long.
Okay.
So we'll rough it around 27 minutes.
7 minutes.
But it was fun.
I mean, yeah.
And that deal makes sense. When he's in our movie, we make the money. When you use the characters, you pay the contract and whatever, you deal with it that way.
I mean, yeah, I get it. But it's just not going to happen now anytime soon.
Yeah, we know because Fox is just a bunch of dumbasses.
It's never that though. But Fox is doing well. The thing is that they're doing well. Fox has now learned to spend less money in making their movies and trying to get better products out of them. So that's what
you can't do that with an X-Men movie.
I mean, it's just what it is, you know. Which is the reason why they're going mutants, because it's cheaper with all new characters except James McAvoy, who still doesn't ask for a big contract. He can't afford to anyway. So you're still spending
that big of a star.
Yeah, you're still spending very little amount of money in general for this. And looking at what happened with Deadpool, they can now say, okay, let's try and be creative in the action sequences to make things work. So it's very possible they can do that. They can't join the X-Men and Avengers universe. Quicksilver is dead in one and alive in the other. I think they can. They just have to. They will have to use something to retcon it. So Infinity Wars Part 2 would be
retcon the whole universe.
Retcons everything. It's the same thing. Like I said, is if you want to retcon the DC universe to bring in. Actually, DC universe is easier because Flash can help you retcon every day of the week if you wanted to. So. It's like it's either like you could have a situation where the movie Flash runs and next minute he sees another Flash, is like, where the hell did you get that costume? It doesn't look like him. And that's when they start talking. It's like, oh, I'm from Earth. This. It's like, oh, I didn't know that. Okay, fine. Where are you going to? I need help. You want to come? I mean, you're fast too, right? Let's go. And then next minute you're like, you know, Superman, who's this person? And then he's like, oh, I know that S. Nah, but it's a woman though. I know a guy who wears that. Like, and Superman would look puzzled like hell, like what's going on. But yeah, you can easily do that kind of stuff back and forth. So it just all depends. But for Fox with X-Men, I think they're happy with the way it is now. I think it's Fantastic Four that's going to go over because it just doesn't even fit their universe. Like right now, the way the universe is looking, it won't even fit anywhere. So it makes no sense.
That's if Apocalypse doesn't bomb. I mean, the reviews are 50-50 at best.
The reviews have been, but again, you know, I mean,
everybody's saying it starts off good and it just starts to suck.
I mean, look, I don't trust reviewers, critics. After you give BVS 27%, I'm sorry, it's just not what it is. So, and after I've watched Civil War a couple more times, I mean, Civil War is only this much slightly better for me now. Just like this much. That's just it. So,
Giant Man stole the show. That bitch broke a plane.
Yeah. See, I mean, again, I don't want to get in this argument, but watching them fight in the airport, I really like. I'm all about powers and superiors. So when I watched that fight, I was like, man, all these guys will die.
Okay, but you can't compare them to the DC villains.
Exactly. If you go to the DC universe, they will just die.
But they're not the same power. DC made gods.
I know, I get it.
Marvel made real life humans.
I'm just saying that that's what I like. You know, I'm just saying, me personally, it's what I like. So I usually just go like that. But you know, hey,
I like, you know, some of the DC heroes as well, but I can see with them for what they're worth.
No, I'm not saying that. Oh well, no, it's at 56%. Apocalypse at 56%. So okay, it's good.
Well, it's going up little by little, but it's one of those where you see it's going to probably be a 50-50 movie.
So about 60% or so when it hit. I think what it is though is like I saw some of the complaints on the reviews and I think they were foolish because you have to accept this. Look, I don't like Bryan Singer's X-Men franchise. As an X-Men fan, I don't like it. As an adaptation of an X-Men movie, what he's done with the new one is cool. It doesn't fit what I like, but I like. That's why, like when with Batman and Superman, BVS fell into the same category of open your mind and see it for what it is. This is not the same Superman you saw when you were a kid. This is definitely not the X-Men I grew up and liked, because Cyclops is not a wuss. Cyclops is not younger than his older brother, which is kind of weird.
They just flipped some of the shit around.
They flipped, and then they made characters worse. I mean, like, you can flip it as long as the character. Example is Walking Dead. You're the one who's telling me they flipped up storylines, but they didn't change the characters.
Well, you got to understand, they aged Carl because
no, it's not
they
that.
Had to,
but they didn't change the essence of the character. You didn't go, that's not Carl, I don't like it. You went,
well, yeah, I see what you're saying, because like Michonne is fitting a certain role that she doesn't really do in the comic,
but they didn't change the way she is.
Yeah, they kind of did change the way she is, because in the comic she's a loose booty, and on the show she wasn't.
Yeah, okay, fine. The sexuality on that point, but that one's always a mixed match. But
some things changed for the better, some things changed for the worse.
But it's not a whole revamp of the character and saying, oh, no, this is not the character at all. You can't relate to
the revamping that they did on a character, which I think story-wise it felt better, was Herschel. Herschel's portrayal in the comic was a bitter old man type person.
Mm-hmm. Okay, see.
On the show, he was more of a humble dad that felt the need to instill wisdom
across the board.
And Tyrese, oh my God, Tyrese in the comic was a badass. Tyrese on the show was I'm sorry for this, folks, but he was just a straight up pussy. I did not like Tyrese.
All right, let's save the Walking Dead. Save the Walking Dead. Why the hell is Mystique leading the X-Men and not? Look, let's not even talk about that. This whatever they decided to do there on that aspect, but
because they wanted to give Jennifer Lawrence one last goodbye.
Yeah, but yeah, moving back to Black Panther though, because we kind of just touched on that briefly. I think they have some good story. I think Captain America will show up in Black Panther because he shows up in the end credits of Black Panther. Yeah, sorry, spoiler. Black Panther shows up in the end credits of Captain America Civil War. So I think
I have a question for you. Since you're saying maybe Cap, do you think, here's another spoiler, that he brings Bucky out of the cryo state and gives him a new arm?
No, I think Bucky will come back in Infinity War.
Which would still make sense too.
Yeah,
but I think we'll see Bucky in Black Panther.
We might just see him in this cryo state.
More like an homage to Return of the Jedi when Han Solo was in the carbonite.
Yeah, maybe something like that, but definitely not out. I think Bucky is stuck there till Infinity War hits, and then he comes out and they let Bucky out.
Bucky's gonna get a vibranium arm.
Exactly. Yeah, there we go, Victor. Vibranium arm. Spoiler alert, joking. But yeah, so I think that's what we'll see. But I would like to see. I think what we're going to see in Black Panther is, where the movie's going to go to?
I'm listening.
The power struggle.
Of what, Wakanda?
Wakanda, yeah. There's going to be, because in Wakanda, in the comic books, correct me anyone if I'm wrong, but you can challenge other. So there are different families who have like other animals that they call upon. Like the Panther has always been the protector of the Wakanda. Okay. But there are other families who have like, was it some white tiger? I can't remember, different like animals that they take on names and they can challenge.
Oh, that might be fun.
So you're going to see, what I think you're going to see in this movie is outside and inside conflict. You're going to have Claw, who was in Age of Ultron, show up in the movie. He went through a lot of beef with Black Panther and his father also, trying to steal more vibranium. Also,
so you think
General Ross is going to try and investigate to see what's going on more there. And then he's going to have internal conflict with another family in Wakanda. They're going to bring up somebody else from the comic books. Because
I could see Claw being the manipulation behind that fraction.
Yeah, I can see Claw being, but I mean, the way Very showed us Claw is that Claw is more money-minded, at least for now anyway. So either the other family is using Claw first, and then maybe also the U.S. government or the UN is using Claw as an in way because he has a way to get into Wakanda, without anyone knowing. And then, so you have all these different storylines, but it still revolves around, the title of king, because everyone is going after the king this time, which is him. Because you think about it, it would be harder because the father was king, he was Black Panther. So you got to kill two people. Now it's just one.
Well, they don't know that he's the Black Panther.
No, they do. Everybody knows he's Black Panther. The king is black. Whoever is king usually is Black Panther until he passes on to the next warrior.
Oh, that's how it worked?
Yeah.
But the father wasn't.
The father was Black Panther when he was younger, and then he passed it on to his son
while he was still king.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah. So being Black Panther is a high privilege. It's like second in command, really. So you almost have two titles if you're king and Black Panther. That's why he said, "Now that I am ruler and warrior, let me ask you this question: can you stop me from getting Bucky?" This is in the movie. Spoiler.
Yes.
Yeah. So when you get the tone from him, he says, "I can catch him if I want to and beat him up, or as king, I will order for him to be caught and I beat him up." So that's what he was implying with that. Because before remember, even when he stood, spoiler alert, in the movie, before the explosion, I know I'm going to say it again, he was on the side. He wasn't sitting in the audience. He was standing like security.
Yes. Now, listen to the way you break it down that way, that dawns on me.
Yeah, he was just looking around. He was looking around, and he looked out.
I get that they called this movie Civil War, and it had its little Civil War elements, but it honestly just felt more like
Avengers 2.5.
No, not even Avengers 2.5. It just felt more like the motherfucking Bucky adventure, because it all centered around his ass again.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about Bucky.
It's like, Jesus Christ, Cap, get your tongue out his ass.
Hey, PG. It's just family friendly. Cut it.
A family friendly show is allowed to have curse words in it as long as it's not the word F.
No.
Yes.
Keep it friendly. Anyway.
Well, that's how that damn movie felt. Thinking back to it and watching a few of the spoiler reviews, it felt more of, it had its Avengers moments in it, but more of the Bucky show. It's like, damn, didn't we get enough of that in Winter Soldier?
I mean, well, it's more of it. Dustin King says, "What do you think about Willem Dafoe's role in Justice League? Now, the rumor is that he might be playing an Atlantean. I've been thinking the whole day. I could not figure out who. I was going to say his dad, but I don't think they're going to go there with it. I think there's a character in the New 52, I've forgotten his name, who is a friend of Aquaman. But until you find out later in the comics, he's the one that caused all the trouble that he goes through, which fits Willem Dafoe because he looks like a bad guy. Yeah,
but wasn't that his brother?
No, not his brother, though. I just can't remember. It starts with a V. If anyone remembers, let me know. But there's a character who basically was friends with Arthur, and then
because I mean, I don't know much about Aquaman except for that last Justice League movie, animated one that they did.
Yeah. So in the comics, his two main villains that they kind of rotate. The newer one is his brother who wanted to become king.
Black Mantis?
No. Black Mantis is his biggest enemy. Is this black guy that wears a black suit that looks like a big Ray Mantis head?
Yeah, but didn't they make him his brother in
No, that's not his brother. No.
Okay, then I'm mistaken.
But he's one of his biggest enemies, and he's always trying to get. I mean, like the motivations were never like as a kid growing up. I didn't really care about the motivations, but he always caused Aquaman a lot of strife, a whole lot of strife in there. So that's somebody they could use too in there because he's a regular human being. He just wears a suit.
He must have some good ass oxygen masks.
Oh no, his thing is like it. I mean, it's like saying he built an Iron Man suit on the water, just pretty much, and which means that thing can withstand anything above water too because of pressure on the water. So
okay, Victor saying brother is Ocean Master, I believe.
Yeah, Ocean Master.
Okay. Who was the one?
Yes. No, Dustin King Volok. Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, that is the person I was referring to. It could be.
I can see that though. I can see Willem Dafoe saying, "Yeah, I'm a good guy," but there's a twist. He's the one manipulating the strings to cause the trouble.
later
Classic
on
William.
in the
Classic William
Aquaman movie. I mean, like he helps him out in Justice League. Makes sense, right? Because they're trying to destroy the world. He wants to take over, whatever the case may be. And then you see his treachery in Aquaman.
I can see that.
Yeah. So, which is why, you know, it makes sense. It's like he's playing a good guy in Justice League. Yeah, he's good for all intents and purposes, right? Till after one.
Ocean Master's basically like Loki.
Like Loki, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, but also Joshua asked this one question. Did you see the image of Sebastian Stan looking like Mark Hamill?
No, I didn't see the image. What was that image?
Dude, it's on there, and all bullshit aside, and this is when he looked
where was this? Where was the image?
You have to do a Google search because I don't remember where I saw it. I saw it on Twitter and Instagram. But if they wanted to make a Luke Skywalker movie in between the 30 years that he disappeared, Sebastian Stan could probably pull it off. Throw a little bit of dirt on his face, and you got yourself Luke Skywalker
yeah, but this
again.
Is all the picture of Sebastian Stan, though. And also he's touched up, and he doesn't look like that now. Homie's got I mean, you can see it's a younger picture. He looks younger here. He doesn't look the same way now. I don't know. I mean, I just saw him in Captain America: Civil War. He does not look like that.
Yeah, but in that movie, they gave him long hair, made him look scruffy.
No, I mean, I've even seen his interviews. He doesn't look like that, though. Yeah.
That picture kind of looked good.
No, I agree with that picture. I'm just saying if they did it then when he was that age, sure. Yeah, I agree. Want to see a young look like, you know, I don't even know. I don't even care anymore with Star Wars, at least for now.
Yeah, I don't want no more of these younger movies. Give me something better. But I have this question for you.
Okay.
This goes back to the Assassin's Creed. I think they screwed up coming out December 21st.
Oh yeah, they're coming out 3 days before.
3 days after Rogue One.
Rogue One, yeah.
And we already know Rogue One is probably going to own the month of December.
Oh yes, it's done. So forget it. Ben Affleck's movie, The Accountant, trailer just hit just now. So I'll post that up in the link. He's a math genius and an assassin at the same time.
Ooh, that sounds interesting.
Yeah. So. That's there. The director of Space Jam, the original director of Space Jam, said the sequel is doomed.
I think so too. Too little, too late. I don't care for it.
So I mean, we'll see.
And frankly, I'm sorry. For as good as LeBron James is, I just don't want to see him in an animated movie. Who's he going to go up against? Steph Curry. It made sense when they did it back then because you had basketball's toughness.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, true. I agree.
And what are you gonna have now? A bunch of aliens shooting from the 3-point line?
I mean, we'll see.
I don't know. I just don't care for this movie.
I mean, we'll see. We'll see.
I ain't reviewing it.
Predator movie starts shooting at the end of the year, and the director said the costume will be upgraded for the sequel for the Predator himself. So we'll see. This is Shane Black, who did the Iron Man 3, who's doing a Predator sequel. So,
okay, so finally we're gonna get some shooting going.
Yeah, they start filming the end of the year. Cool. I can't remember, October, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So, that's gonna be up. But I think that is pretty much it on the news segment. There's a lot of news this week, though. I will say. Oh, there's some more. There's some released clips of Warcraft, of the movie. About maybe 4 or 5 clips. Somebody compiled them all together. I'll drop the link for you guys. It actually looks good. I mean, it's one of this. This is one of those movies where you're like, it could be anywhere. I mean,
see, what sucks about this is the Collider crew already seen this movie. They saw it earlier this week.
Yeah.
But since they're under embargo, we can't find out how this movie's going to do. Because I was kind of hoping for their little Instagram emojis where they gave you a good big smiley face, like the movie was good, or one of those sour nose faces that it sucked.
Yeah.
But we're just going to have to wait and see. And yes, Voltron's trailer debut comes out June 10th.
Yeah, that looked dope.
Looks pretty good. Yeah, and for all you Dragon Ball Super fans, Trunks makes his return June 10th. Future Trunks I'm referring to. He's coming back.
And there's a Black Goku coming.
Well, the name is Black Goku. They're not sure what he's gonna be yet. It could be an evil Goku, clone Goku, or a future version of Goku Black coming back. That's the definition of the name. Okay. Because in Japan, black has a different meaning. Means more of the evil side.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, that's gonna.
I've been listening to a bunch of different shows break this shit down because this has been the hot topic.
Yeah, well, that's why. I remember when you mentioned Black Goku, I was like, I'm just gonna keep that aside.
You know? Yeah, I know.
Joshua has great, but yeah, I really hope that Warcraft is going to be good. I like the little film clips I saw. It showed magic, and it showed some really good use of magic. It showed the orcs talking. And it gave me a better understanding of like, okay, I can see why the orcs are doing whatever they're doing. And even the action elements, like everything looked good. Like it's one of those movies that I think a lot of people won't appreciate until they watch it again on Blu-ray. And they'll be like, I think it would do okay. But I think when people watch it
needs to do a little bit better than okay for the simple fact that it took forever to make. Because this movie should have been out over a year ago.
No, it's just out end of last year. They pushed it back because the amount of
they wanted to touch on the CG and all that other stuff.
It had nothing to do with like the script or anything. It was just like they needed, and I'm fine with that aspect of pushing it. But it's just it's the way Warcraft is that it's something that people will watch later on, I think, and appreciate more and go, man, that was good. Like, I get it. Like,
I kind of want it to have that Lord of the Rings feel because I can shit you not. I can pop in my extended versions of the Lord of the Rings, sit back and watch them. To this day, they still carry a good story and it still looks good.
Yeah, I mean, I think it will have some of that. I mean, I think you already seen it, right? From the clip, you see the magician. You see. I
haven't watched that one that you posted in the chat.
Oh, you should watch it.
But from watching the trailers, I'm intrigued to see this movie because I'm not one that gets taken away by the CGI because, granted, I watched The Hobbit and the CGI and that didn't bother me.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it. I just want to make sure. I don't know much about Warcraft.
No, I don't know either. But trust me, when you watch these clips, it will give you a good idea quickly of what happens in the Warcraft world. So I think it was nice. Then Victor is asking about Steppenwolf. Yeah, we did talk about Steppenwolf. We both like the idea of Steppenwolf coming in.
It makes good sense. If
he plays in just like the El Mayimbe scoop that says Darkseid tried to conquer Earth 30,000 years ago. Atlanteans and Amazonians and man drove him off, and but he left 3 mother boxes, which is why Steppenwolf is coming for his scouting for the war. So that's where I think it stands. So we like it. Steven Esty Knight will direct the sequel to Pacific Rim 2.
That was announced like 3 months ago.
Yeah, but they just got a new writer for Pacific Rim. It's the writer of.
They must have not liked Del Toro's script.
It's probably still based off Del Toro's script.
Probably.
Yeah, so he still gets credit for it. I think it's when you get a new director and he might want to change his take on there. You have to change a bunch of things. So there's a new writer on that. Joshua says the premise reminds him of Planet of the Apes Warcraft. I guess you could say so a little bit in there, but we'll see. Anything else in the news? There's a lot of news this week. We'll say. Actually, no, just like the last couple of days, like last 2 days, and like a bunch of things just came out.
Yeah, news dropped a lot today. We got a lot of cancellations and renewals and
stuff like that.
Moving of networks and shit. But other than that, I couldn't tell you as far as much as news because I've really stayed off the internet.
Yeah. The scribe for Pacific Rim 2 is the writer of Jurassic World. So, I mean, everybody loves Jurassic World, so yeah, sure. That's where that goes. And Civil War is at 765 million globally, on its way to billion, as it is.
It's not like I didn't think it would be.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, moving on to shows. Now, remember, first show of the week is Game of Thrones. Definitely follow us on Sunday nights, 10:15 p.m. We do a live recap of Game of Thrones.
And if you didn't watch that, just know that
you can watch it now. You can watch it now. Watch a recap and join us there. Moving on to the first show of the week. That would be Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
That would be Flash.
Oh, Flash. I could do it. I do this every week, right? I actually do this every week. Yeah, the first episode is Flash. Now, this is the one directed by Kevin Smith. Yes. I liked the episode. There were some things I didn't like. But then Kevin Smith reminded me why I should have been patient. For me, Flash was always, he was whining a little bit in that episode. He was doing a little whining.
I didn't mind it.
No, I didn't mind it because they brought it back to his mom. And for me, it kind of hit because mom just visited.
And she just left that day.
So I was like, okay. And then I thought about it too. I was like, if anything happened to my mom, I would actually, I would react more like Superman. I would lose it. I would literally lose it. So I can see why that was played up there. And I like that aspect. And also it reminded me of what, this is what a lot of people missed. Clark Kent said in, spoiler, Batman versus Superman. When he was with the Speed Force, he was talking to his mother. That was the last thing that was holding him back. The person who called him back was his future wife.
Yes.
Right? And we go back to Clark Kent said, when Clark asked Clark Kent, it's like, how did you deal with the guilt? It's like, I found a good woman who reminded me, who basically told me that none of that matters as long as I do the right thing. So it was helping him close that. So I kind of saw the correlation there. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
To that little reference of Iris calling for Barry.
Yeah.
That was taken from the from Wally West and his wife's storyline in the comics.
Mm-hmm.
Because when he would get lost in the Speed Force, she was the one that would always bring him back home.
Yeah.
And then,
thank you.
I enjoyed this episode a lot. It could have done without the stupid ass villain. This episode didn't need that dumb villain.
Oh, the zombie guy. Yeah, it didn't need that at all. But it was fine. Like, to me, that didn't take away from anything. It just made sure. I mean, it was fine. It was one of those things that you could throw in, didn't affect the episode because most of the episode took place in the Speed Force anyway.
See, this episode could have been a 10 just on the way it went, but because of that dumbass zombie walker, it knocked it down to a 7.
Nah, not a 7. Nah. The episode was, to me, a very solid 9 because it did two things. I was hoping the person who was going to catch was not himself. I was hoping it was Jesse Quick, or no, I knew it would not be Wally because Wally, they want to save Wally's reveal big time. But I was hoping it was Jesse Quick because remember, she was in a coma, right? And meanwhile, Wally was already like, I'm fine, I'm up, right? So I was hoping that was her, like she was in the Speed Force stuck too, but she was just like running, back and forth in there. But I figured it would be himself he was going to stop. I was just hoping for that. For that aspect, but
he kissed her on the cheek.
Yeah, he did. I know because he
doesn't want to take it too quick.
Yeah, they're saving that for that special moment, at season finale.
We're getting there, Dustin.
Yeah, but
that's next after we discuss S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes, the best part of the zombie was Cisco. I'm so glad you're here because we're about to die. I mean, Cisco has some good lines. Remember when the zombie came out? I forgot what he said specifically, but he said something funny. He's like, "Oh, we're getting zombies now, really, man?" I mean, like he's always good with his delivery. I mean, it would be cool to have Cisco in the general DC universe or in a movie too, because I think that kid does a really good job with humor and all that stuff out there. So I think, but yeah, overall, we both liked the episode. I think it was solid.
Yeah, this episode was solid.
Yeah,
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. this week, in my opinion, was another decent episode. I enjoyed it up until the part that they, spoiler, killed Lash in a weak way.
Yes, that was the part that so annoyed me because it showed us what Lash was for, right? Showed us why Lash was there. Like, they've been hammering that point that every human is there for a reason. And Lash at first didn't have. It was like you're just killing every human. It didn't make any sense.
But see, Lash's storyline in the comic was to get rid of insufficient Inhumans and keep the ones that were deemed worthy.
Yeah, no, I agree. But
his story kind of started off like that.
It kind of, but there was no focus to it in the sense.
It didn't focus.
So when he comes out, I was like, yes. And then when a Hive just couldn't fight him, I was like, yeah. I was like, he would have to be taken down by at least 3 Inhumans and Hive or something like that, like, to take him out. But it was just so.
See, my friend broke it down to where, because I was pissed off. I'm like, dude, that chain didn't even have no sharp edges at the end of it to go through him. But my homie was like, well, what if he got the chain to go through him, and then when it went through him, it exploded because his power was to explode.
Well, it didn't explode though. I mean, it was basically. But then again, the guy's fire. The power is fire or molten fire, whatever you want to call it. So,
dude, he was Ghost Rider in the making.
Exactly. So that thing can. I agree. It can cut through Lash. It just didn't feel right. It should have been almost where I think what that scene should have been is that it should have chopped up an arm or really hurt an arm. And he just closes the thing and goes out. It's like, no, like he has to deal with this. And then he gets killed. You know what I mean? Like it shows that at least not that it just didn't feel right that he just dropped her and then it's like, the back.
I liked the episode all the way up until that point. I'm like, oh, come on, man. Really? They used this dipshit to kill Lash?
Yeah, I liked the episode. I liked the fact that Electro Boy didn't actually play foolishness. Because I was like, dude, tell me this is your typical double cross. Or
and
else
it was. They played it good.
Yeah, he played it good because I was like, if you're going to do this, man, you're an idiot. I mean, it makes no sense, but he played it well, and I like that part too. I think that was actually good. Overall, it was a solid episode. Moving on to Arrow, Dustin. We're talking about Arrow now. So, here, yeah, I mean,
it's Arrow. What do you expect?
It's Arrow. There were a few things I liked. There's some things a lot of things I didn't. The aspect of things I liked, some of the fight scenes were looking tight. I was like, okay, that's cool. Except that fight at the end with Thea and the dude.
That looked horrible.
It was just bad. Arrow stuff. His fights were cool, especially
some of his fights were okay.
Remember the one going up the staircase with the 3 guys.
Diggle?
No. It was Arrow going up the staircase with 3 guys.
Oh, where he wasn't in costume.
Yeah, that was, you could tell because you could tell it wasn't Stephen Amell because he had the mask on. So the stunt guy did that. It was so smooth. You could see how clean cut all that was. I mean, it's just one of those things where, I mean, they know they have to do something incredibly good to
literally
this thing.
I was talking about Arrow before we started our show, and I mentioned this in that hangout. I go, Greg Berlanti should take up Kevin Smith on his offer to help write for Arrow.
Yeah,
and let him revive this damn series because this series is in need of help.
Yeah, I agree. If Kevin Smith wants to do Arrow, Berlanti should, because the problem is Berlanti has left Arrow and he's moved on like right now, and he's not doing Flash anymore. He's trying to situate Supergirl and then DC Legends of Tomorrow. Now, if he's going to go off and do
Booster Gold,
because it looks like that will happen. Remember, Booster Gold can be dropped in any time period. So WB might like that because that's a story that you can just throw out there and not feel like it can easily add to your storyline and not take away anything from the general storyline. So if he's that busy, then having Kevin Smith come in to do episodes might not be a bad idea, or even take over the show and run it and see how that goes. So, I mean, we all love Arrow. We don't want it to go.
I just need a fresh dude. I want Arrow to go back to the season 1 and 2 model where it was Felicity just behind the keyboard without the whining.
Well, see, the thing about it is that they need to take Arrow away from the city now. And that's the thing. It needs to be away from location. It needs to be Arrow now on a journey. Remember, I think what it is after this season, now he's broken up with Felicity. He might need to take that trip. And he might need to go back and reassert himself. But then he goes on this, it's almost like now he's going on this chasing quest, whatever the case may be. Whether it's somebody from the island that he met that knows him, or, remember, there's that character that's kind of like him, like a more polished, or actually a true version of Oliver Queen is going to show up next season.
Yeah,
maybe that's somebody he met, or is a nemesis he's met within those 5 years that has come back. And now he has to deal with this person, and this person is leading him on a chase. Then at that point, it's just Arrow himself and whoever he faces. It's not, and then maybe he can call in Felicity. Felicity's like, hey, I need tech help. Can you help me unlock this and do that? Because then that puts Felicity back in Star City, and she doesn't have to be there at all.
See, that could work as well, but they're not going to do that. We already know that. It's always going to be Oliver in that damn city. They can't take him away from that godforsaken city.
Well, I mean, they should be able to take him now. I mean, it's 4 seasons, so you should be able to.
But they're not, because this is CW we're talking about.
Yeah. We'll see.
I just want them to scale the team back. I mean, it came out this week that Colton Hayes is coming back next season for multiple episodes. And we've seen in this episode that now Captain Lance most likely will not get his badge back because of Mama Smoke, making him tell the truth.
Yeah. So
then
they're phasing him out.
I brought up the fact that next season he might become a member of the team. And then my friend goes, what if he becomes the Question? He's an ex-detective, in his case, the ex-detective that wears a blank mask on his face, and he just gathers information. That could fit Lance's role.
I mean, they could, though, but to make him the Question to be the Question is not an easy thing, because I remember I read the comic where the Question passed from a man to a woman, and the Question requires your screw to get loose at some point, because you start looking at
what better way than Captain Lance to start losing his screws because of the death of Laurel.
Yeah, but
it now starts to hit.
No, but it's not going to, because it doesn't even fit right now, because he's already Mama Smoke has held him, strong. So unless Mama Smoke dies,
Mama Smoke could die in the season finale,
and then that would be where Felicity's like, I'm done with this, and then he will also crack his screw and go, you know what, this is too much. Then it goes away. But I think then you need to do some revamps in there. But
this show needs it.
DC Legends tomorrow. I didn't watch it. You did. So general thoughts.
It was a good episode. I like what they did this week. I won't say much because I missed the ending. I missed the final 2 minutes. But from what I watched, it was fun. And I will say this. I won't say who, but someone died.
Okay.
One of the main cast members dies. And I don't think they could bring him back.
Okay.
In that aspect. But it was actually next week is the season finale.
Yeah.
To that and the 100. But other than that, it's worth to watch. I like what they're doing, and it did explain a lot more of the Time Master's diabolical plan with Vandal Savage.
Yeah, the thing about Time Masters, when you read the comic books, which is why Rick Hunter is always pissed with them, is that they always look at things in the worst bigger picture possible, So, and they never follow what you should expect Time Masters should do.
Yeah, but
it
was a good episode. I enjoyed it. And to Joshua's little question, is Jon Snow going to take back Winterfell next episode? No, not next episode. That's probably not going to happen for another few episodes down the line.
When Winterfell is recovered, it's going to be big. It's going to be a pivotal moment in there. I think in the next, it'll be happening in 2 or 3 episodes. I agree.
I can see that as a season 9 episode.
Yeah.
Season 9, episode 9 is one of those big episodes for the show.
It's the death episode, the major death episode. That's when somebody actually dies of huge importance. And that would be Ramsay. So Ramsay dies in episode 9.
I could see that. I'd be happy.
Yeah, so I see that happening. Joshua asks, should Del Toro do anything DC related besides Justice League Dark? I think you can. Just think that he likes a lot of dark stuff. So I think the problem is that Zatanna will never have a movie. She would be part of a team, and but I don't know. I don't think there's any property that fits his style unless he was doing the Justice League Dark on its own too. That's the only other thing I can think of.
I see Ramsey dying by his own hound, biting him in his junk while he's taking a sword.
Who's going to kill Ramsey? That would be Jon Snow.
I would like it to be Jon Snow, but I would also love it for Sansa. I'm sorry,
Sansa.
To stab the knife through his heart.
So at the
same time, Jon Snow's direwolf bites him in the junk.
For some reason, my Yahoo feed has been feeding me with lots of Reddit theories on Game of Thrones. A lot of theories on Recon, and how that's more of a trap. I mean, like, we'll talk about that on Sunday, because the theories out there are a lot and vast about Game of Thrones and where the storylines are going, because the author of the book has been releasing chapters of his book out. He constantly does that. Like, he has. That's why people have been waiting for the book. It's not like he just says, I'll release the book next year and doesn't release it. It's like, I'm releasing it next year, I'm not finished. Here's a chapter. Ooh.
Catch you all. Ooh.
Exactly. And he drops, so you don't know where the chapter is, the story, what, and his chapters are mixed. So it's not like it's one chapter full. Some chapters will fully talk on a person, some chapter will not, So it might be he might drop a chapter on like the Dornish chicks or whatever. And then they hint on Jon Snow, you're like, and then there's nothing. You're like, So he does it. He's done a good job of marketing his books. So there's a lot of theories out there because of all the different chapters and all the things that have gone left and right in that. So we'll see. Victor says, is Justice League Dark its own movie or part of the universe? It was going to be its own, that is part of the universe, because that all deals in the supernatural and astral and things like that.
And the
mystical stuff. I think the only thing that was going to be hinted towards it would have been Wonder Woman, in a sense, just because she deals with the gods also. So, and maybe Shazam to a certain degree, because also they got their powers from the wizard Shazam. So I think that's the one where it's got that, it could be hinted, they will hint on those characters, or they could talk about, the gods, and they're like, they created an Amazon. Doesn't mean that, it has anything to do with, the bigger DC picture, that kind of thing. Dustin King says, what are your thoughts on Independence Day sequel? I'll let you start off with that.
Okay, my thoughts are I'm looking forward to the sequel, and I don't mind the aspects of it. Thunder East thoughts is he doesn't care for the kids. He just wants all the old folks.
Really, you had to steal that away from me. I was trying to say that with a little angst. Yeah, I don't care for the kids at all. I was very happy to see how I keep forgetting his name. I always forget his name. I don't know.
The Fly?
Yeah, I was going to say The Fly.
Jeff Goldblum?
Jeff Goldblum, yeah. I love seeing him, especially that little viral video they made with Goldblum in there. I enjoyed it. And then when the kids started talking, I was like, the Chinese girl was fine. The president's daughter.
Don't care for Will Smith's stepson.
The president's daughter was like, okay, right.
She was a man.
She was like, no, she was cool in the sense like it's fine. Will Smith's stepson, it was like,
no,
really? You're supposed to follow your dad. He was supposed to be the greatest hero on the planet, and this is what? And then, of course, the Hemsworth brother that can act was also in that too. So, I mean, as long as they keep Jeff Goldblum alive, if you want to do another sequel, that's cool with me. But I don't know. I mean, we'll have to attack them at some point, right?
But see, that's the problem. We're never going to attack them.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, we'll see. I'll be seeing Ninja Turtles. When's Ninja Turtles coming out?
I don't remember. Soon.
I'm seeing that in a couple of weeks or 2 weeks, I think.
Oh, ain't you the lucky one?
So June 3rd. I'm seeing that maybe like a couple of days before it comes out.
Ain't you the lucky one? Tony, you need to hook me up with your boy.
That's if there are screenings in your city, which is not the case. Remember, I moved to New York. That's why there are more screenings. I was in Boston, which is not so.
I'm not moving to New York.
Yeah, so that's that. Any more questions, guys, before we wrap up? Let us know.
Even though the wife wouldn't mind moving to New York.
Let us know any more questions you want to ask. If there's anything we missed.
Yeah, don't forget, you could always just leave us questions on Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter, right here in the comments. You can do that too. We will answer questions for you and discuss. But a lot of news this week. I was excited to hear some Justice League stuff that people weren't, poo-pooing on the movie BVS constantly. Because a lot of people are like, yeah, BVS is such a failure. I'm like,
$800 million is not a failure.
$65 million is not a failure just because of your ratings. And that's the funny part, because you give it that ratings and you say, oh, it's not as bad as Transformers. I'm like, and why did you all give it that? I mean, but Rotten Tomatoes is an amalgamation of ratings, so it kind of falls into that pool, so to speak. What do you guys think of Stephen Amell as Casey Jones?
I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how he is in the movie, but I think it'll be fine.
Yeah, I think he'll do a good job. I mean,
he knows how to play.
I like him as the Arrow. It's just, it ain't his fault that the writing has been shitty.
Yeah, it's been terrible. So, all right, guys, that is it for this week's episode of Comic Crunch. Next week, we will be doing... Which season finales do we have next week?
Legends of Tomorrow and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Okay. We'll do both on Thursday. I think it'll just be much wiser for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Thursday, catch us again Thursday, 10:15. Also, don't forget, 10:15 on Sunday is Game of Thrones weekly recap, so episode 4. And the weekly is back Saturday, 12 p.m., also on the channel. One more question from Joshua Hargraves. Y'all think Steppenwolf would be powerful? Yes, he is.
Has to be. For the Justice League to take him on, yeah.
Yeah, he is. He is Darkseid's uncle. The only reason why he's afraid of Darkseid is because of Darkseid's Omega Beam, which will take you out.
And that explains why. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen BVS, he's going to be the reason Superman comes out of retirement.
Well, from the grave.
I'm pretty sure Superman's out of that grave already, and he's just hiding out somewhere.
It's like, I was going to chill, Mom. Just take it easy. Can you make some more pie, Mom? Yeah.
Some more pecan?
So, this is a good question. Should they show Superman and all in the Justice League trailers?
No.
Yeah.
If you kind of want to keep the secret that he doesn't come back to life, they shouldn't. Because we already know they're following a certain storyline, but still, to give the audience that feel, don't show Superman.
True. Man. That's going to be interesting, though. I mean, now I think about it.
I mean, let's be real. These are the stupid people that make trailers. They'll find a way to throw a Superman in there.
Yeah, that is a good question, Victor. I will agree if you don't show him until the movie releases, and then you can show him.
Yeah, and then after the movie comes out, have a TV spot with him in it.
Yeah, but don't show him at all. I mean, but throughout the campaign, throughout the shooting, make sure Henry Cavill posts a lot of Instagram working out with weights, because the rumor here is that a lot of set has been built for this, and they're going to use green screens, for added stuff. But it's a massive indoor set so that nobody sees what's happening.
Good
in the movie.
Good. Move more to locations to where you could build out these sets and keep the movie hidden, and then you don't have pictures floating.
Joshua says, should they show his shadow? No shadow of him looking. You can, if you want to tease it, you should tease that sonic boom sound. That's it.
Yeah, but couldn't that be Wonder Woman flying?
Yeah, that's why you just tease the sound. That's all you got.
Or Wonder Woman in her invisible jet.
I mean, or Cyborg flying because he can fly too. So might as well you just tease the sound. That's all. You throw the sound in there. It's Superman, but then you do the sound and then you see like Cyborg landing. And you're like, oh, never mind.
Yeah, but you could tease the sound and show a Cyborg landing to throw you off.
Exactly. So everybody kind of goes, yeah, or
he'll be back before
Jackie. Yeah,
I think he makes his return before the third act.
Yeah, second act of the movie, towards the end of the second act of the movie, because they have to show everyone coming together, and they're going to start having a tough time. And Superman comes back, and I guarantee you, they're going to show him smile like this. So that all those people who are complaining that he doesn't smile, and he's going to wear his black costume.
Oh, come on, man! Do they really want a Christopher Reeve Superman?
I'm just saying,
he was a smile freak.
You're going to show him. He's going to land.
Different. I mean, you and I both understand this.
And then he's going to crack a joke to Batman. It's like, man.
Oh, God, I hope not.
No. He should crack a joke that fits,
Oh, his joke should be, what, did you think you could keep me down?
Something like that. I mean, something that fits just that atmosphere where it's like, you all can do this without me, couldn't you, huh? I'm back. And then he goes to fight or whatever the case may be.
I could see him coming back in the black suit, and then by the end of the movie, he puts back on a lighter version of his suit. They bring a little more color to it.
Yeah, I mean,
instead of that navy blue.
I'm fine with the navy blue.
I'm fine with it too, but you want him to be a little lighter in tone.
Yeah, no, I think that's what they do. They do some autocorrect. No, the suit is actually light.
I know, and then they just color it in really bad for the camera.
Yeah, color it in. No, but the coloring has to match the hue, because if you make it that light in Snyder's world, he would look like he's a color in the black and white template. Joshua Hargrave says he's going to come back with his hands on his hips.
I can see that.
Yeah, see that happening. So I think we'll have that. I think if they want to have a Superman sequel, you're right. Don't show him in the trailers. Just don't. Even though everybody knows, don't show it. And then when he comes back, it feels like, oh, thank God. Whew. Wonder Woman's like, man, I'm sorry, man.
Or they can do this. No, because he's on set filming, so no, that takes away from it. I was going to say they could not put him in this movie.
No,
and Wonder Woman is able to beat Steppenwolf with the help of Cyborg and Flash. Because let's be real, Batman, for as cool as Batman is,
strategy, and Aquaman, remember?
Well, and Aquaman, they beat him, but it takes them a while, and then Superman comes in for the big fight, which would be Darkseid in the second movie.
I mean, yeah, you could do that. You could definitely do it. But
he's already on set filming.
Went
that route.
No.
He does not need the fucking curl in his hair.
I guarantee they're gonna drop like a little one there. Everyone's like, "This is Superman we love."
They do that. I would like to go through the screen and cut that crap off. I'm sorry, I don't want the Christopher Reeves version. What Christopher Reeves did in the 70s and 80s is great. This is a new take. I like this take because this universe is fine. I like the darkness to it. Let's not lighten everything up. We got Marvel for light stuff.
Hey, just saying. I hear you. All right, guys. Thank you very much. We appreciate you guys watching. As always, Joshua, Victor, Jackie, iMac, and Dustin, everyone who commented, thank you very much. We appreciate it. If you're watching this for the first time, definitely hit the subscribe button if you want to check out more of Comic Crunch, comic book news, all that fun stuff in there. No Dustin, no old theme music. I like the Man of Steel theme music. And I love the old one too. Trust me, I do. Superman's going to be the MVP of Justice League. Yeah, that's right. Boom, Jackie. And definitely
no underwear.
Oh God, no. All right, guys, thank you very much. Leave your questions and comments below. Check us out again Saturday, the weekly 12 p.m. Eastern, and
makes its triumphant comeback.
And Sunday we will have, of course, our Game of Thrones recap, 10:15 p.m. Eastern time. All right,
that's where we're more animated.
and always enjoy your entertainment.